They have a slogan at Tripp Family Medicine that says, "Life's too short not to feel good," and I think today really underscores that. Dr. Jonathan Tripp joining us in the studio on News Radio 1310 KLIX, newsradio1310.com. Pardon me, I'm trying to read what you've written. I've read some of it already, but I'm trying to read it again
Okay.
while I'm talking, and it's like trying to rub your head and pat your belly at the same time.
Exactly.
We wanted to point out that the doctor, of course, joins us on Wednesday mornings between 8:30 and 9 o'clock, or one of his associates. Hey, right off the top, we should tell people how they could get a hold of the office, because
Sure.
a lot of people tune in, and I know a lot of people are new to town and they're looking for a new doctor.
Well, and we've got a variety of practitioners, all of which are unusually good at listening, and they're really smart. So we've got male, female. You pick what you like, and we'll see you. And actually, typically, what happens is we tend to share the patients. So whether you actually see all of us differently or different times, which is a possibility. At a minimum, if we have any questions, we're interacting with each other and asking questions of one another of different patient scenarios. So often, and as the supervising physician, you'd say, well, I should know this, but really my PAs probably know as much about my patients as I do, because I'm often asking their opinion. So this is kind of the office where you get a second and third opinion and you don't even know about it. So really it's superior care, and it's a different environment than what you see otherwise around with corporate medicine. So this is a place you can feel like you belong and get superior care. And of course, we use our local hospital and the specialists because we have great uh, providers through that system. But if you want to feel like you're really known to our office or to a provider and their staff, we're probably the exception there. So we are located on Fillmore Street across from the post office. It's 1411 Fillmore, and it's Suite 600. And today, that's important to know how to get there, because today is our Patient Appreciation Day, which really means it's our gratitude day for all the 8,000 people that have come through our door at one time or another over the last 6 years. And we have many people that have been, interested in checking us out. Today's a great day to do that. We're going to have a donut truck there. We're going to have games for the kids and prizes. It'll be right on the lawn at our office. We'll have our 11-foot big red ball, which is really kind of like the biggest beach ball I know of. And
Familiar from the Western Days Parade.
yes, in fact, if you're at Western Days Parade, you're understanding how we run it into the kids at the side. We've been known to run over children, and they asked to have it happen twice. We were down at the Magic Valley Speedway and had about 100 kids lined up on the grass in the middle of the speedway and ran them over with that ball. It's just a lot of fun. So today, starting at 3 p.m. till 6 p.m., we're combining our last sports physical day along with our customer appreciation. And, as far as our general health discussions, donuts are usually not included, but today they are. So if you have a family, especially with kids, come on out. If you're a patient, great. And if you're a prospective patient, come play with us. Come see if we're a fit for you, and have a little fun with the games and the donuts.
I know what you mean. I don't eat a lot of donuts, but occasionally I'm a victim to carrot cake.
Oh, there you go.
But once in a great while, it's a comfort food. That's I don't eat it all the time. But speaking of comfort and just emotional well-being and all of these things, this is a little bit about. We've got about 2 minutes before the break, but we're going to really delve into this morning.
Yeah, this is the title for today is Feeling Better and Stronger, both physically, emotionally, and psychologically. And we're going to tell you there's some simple and kind of pain-free and cost-free ways to do this. And it comes from the synopsis of this comes from an article out of Forbes magazine. So, and it has lots of good references that it uses. So we've got some scientific data. It's not just some great author's opinion. And let me finish by telling you can contact us at our telephone numbers, area code 208-933-4400. That's 208-933-4400. And our webpage is trippvalleymedicine.com, and you can reach us on at Facebook at Tripp Family Medicine. So let's see what the break has for us.
There's going to be, in fact, a couple of things we'll talk about, which probably people don't normally think about when it comes to your health. But I think sometimes I mentioned in the last segment there was that popular book in the 1970s called The Power of Positive Thinking.
Sure.
And there's a lot of things you can do in your personal life, just simply daily choices that you make that could have a great deal of impact on your health. And I'm reminded there was an episode some years ago of the TV show King of the Hill where Hank meets a guy who's always angry. And he admires the guy until the guy is finally talking with him one day and he's angry and the guy drops dead from a heart attack. All the anger got to him and it actually impacted his cardiac health.
Well, there's lots of opinions about whether selfish or angry people or happy people live longer, and the truth is when we actually put it to studies, it's the people that show gratitude and actually find out how to be happier and less angry and less revengeful. They actually do better and live longer.
I was going to say the music is appropriate for that.
There
We've
you
got
go.
more coming up with Dr. Jonathan Tripp from Tripp Family Medicine. Better health with Tripp Family Medicine at 64, 20 minutes away from 9 o'clock on Magic Valley this morning, too, as well, with Bill Colley. Dr. Jonathan Tripp joining us in the studio until 9 o'clock this morning. It's Better Health with Tripp Family Medicine. Remember, life's too short not to feel good. Bill Colley handling soundboard. And we do want to point out, too, as well, if you'd like to speak to the doctor this morning, 208-736-0300. So you cite an article from Forbes magazine, which I don't subscribe to, but I occasionally see stuff online from it. It's a very good magazine, but today it's mainly business, but today it's dealing with health issues.
Yeah, this one is titled Seven Scientifically Proven Benefits of Gratitude That Will Motivate You to Give Thanks Year Round. It was written during Thanksgiving time, but really is a nice reminder and has some scientific journals that it cites as its research. So it's helpful to put this as a summary or synopsis, because to say, hey, be grateful or be kind, those are nice, but
Mhm.
I frequently look at something and say, show me the proof, or what's in it for me. And so today we're going to talk about what's in it for you and your health. So let's start off at the top. It says gratitude opens the door to more relationships. So if you're a single 20 or 30 something year old, that sounds really attractive. But for those of us that aren't in the dating scene, who cares if you have more relationships? And the answer is connectivity, especially in a community like ours, is key. It is helpful when you don't know it. And, the adage of what goes around comes around really is true. Sorry, I'm about to die here, frog in the throat.
All the
Welcome back to the
smoke in the
smoke.
air. Yeah.
If you are careful to say simple things like thank you when somebody holds the door for you, I mean, this is not just male female interaction. And maybe sending a thank you note to somebody that's helped you out. It could be a coworker or somebody that's done you a little extra favor. That definitely that goes a long way and it sticks. And over time, when you have a need, whether it's networking or just simply ideas or conversation or run into somebody at a restaurant, those kinds of gratitude or grateful interactions are remembered. Even if they're not remembered on a daily basis, when you come into view, all of a sudden that attitude of gratitude shows up. And so, whether you think a stranger, coworker, we're talking about that, or somebody that helped you with a project, all of these contribute to new opportunities for either new or developing greater relationships. And honestly, you can say, oh, I want to be a hermit and I don't care. Well, that's your call. It probably is not a life of gratitude, but at the same time, what you find out is we're in a small town. I don't care if there's 50,000 in Twin Falls and 100,000 in Magic Valley. That we're in a small town atmosphere that people are connected by family, by jobs, by other types of engagement, and it really does show up. And I get to see that in my practice. People I've known for, since we opened 6+ years ago, I still find out, oh my goodness, you're connected to that other person this way, whether it's a family relation that I didn't know about or, some work. And then I find out that the new patient says, oh yeah, I've known a lot about you guys the whole time. I just have never been here. And it reminds me that, what we do at work, what we do in public really does have long-term
Yeah,
ramifications.
you bring this up because I was thinking about it yesterday. We're not Seattle or Salt Lake City or even Boise.
Right.
But this town is still 17. I calculated it the other day, 17 times larger than the town I grew up in. And
Okay.
yet, just every time I go to the grocery store, I run into somebody I know. Just yesterday, I've run into you at the grocery store,
Uh huh.
and so it gives you that sense of belonging that that you I think most people long for.
Yeah, there's a connectivity. In fact, my work as an ER physician or urgent care, even in those situations, was not nearly as gratifying as a family practice where I get to know the more extended family or the friends, and that connectivity, at least for me, is a big part of the satisfaction and what makes a lot of hard work and frustration sometimes of owning a practice worthwhile. And so that is those relationships are important. So that's probably the first is it opens up the opportunity for new relationships.
And you mentioned it helps with the physical health too.
It does. Gratitude improves physical health. According to a 2012 study published in a journal called Personality and Individual Differences, it shows that grateful people experience fewer headaches, fewer aches, fewer pains, and report feeling healthier than other people. And then the continuation of that is it's not surprising that grateful people are more likely to take care of their health. They exercise more often. They're more likely to attend regular checkups with the doctor, which contributes to future longevity. Um, you know, so when we talk about wellness programs, somebody who's grateful and appreciative of what they have are more likely to come forward and say, hey, check me out. Let's see where I stand, see what I need to do, if anything, differently. So, yeah, it does. You just tend to have, I mean, who wouldn't like that has aches and pains? Who wouldn't like to have fewer aches and pains?
Yeah, I guess.
If you could change that without a pill, just by simply, starting to show gratitude for little things. I'll give you an example. I've had things that I've thought of, like I'm shutting my car door after I get out, and it's a near miss going right by my nose or my cheek. And I have this real quick feeling of, wow, I'm really grateful that didn't whack me in the face instead of the opposite, which could have been angry about, I can't believe that almost hit me in the face. So it's little changes in how you perceive everyday events that tend to generate what's going on in your brain different. They're called neurotransmitters. It's basically the chemicals that transmit information in your brain. You choose how you approach something, and it changes those neurotransmitters, and you, as a result of different neurotransmitters, feel better or feel worse. So a lot of it really is up to you.
These first two really, though, I think combine to come up with a third, and that is that makes your psychological health better.
Yeah. So if you feel connected, if you have deeper relationships, you have more foundation that way, and your physical health is doing better. You're right. Your psychological health goes right along with that because by being grateful, it reduces a whole bunch of these toxic emotions. Um, you're talking about the guy on the King of the Hill episode where he's just angry at everything. That just really produces a lot of negative feedback in your brain, and so as you reduce or change what you're doing there, you actually feel better about yourself. Now, there's also we tend to have a lot of resentment or frustration or regret, and so if you're working on even small efforts at gratitude, it doesn't mean you have to be grateful for the broken leg that you had. On the other hand, if you have a broken leg that just happened and you're in a car accident, being grateful that it wasn't worse might really help. And we'll talk about that later because it not only reduces your frustration and helps your own self-esteem, but it will increase your resilience. We're going to talk about that. That's really a big health benefit. So, and then number 4 in our list goes to it enhances empathy and reduces aggression. Wait a second, I can reduce road rage? Yeah, you can. That's a big choice. I had a lady who, as I was driving home yesterday, pulled about halfway out into the lane that I was driving by, and I'm going by at 35 miles an hour, and she just pulls right forward and is about, first half of her car's in my lane. And my first thought was, how dare she encroach upon my lane? What does she think she's doing? And as I get closer to her, I can tell on her face and the wave of her hand that she didn't mean to. She's embarrassed about it. And my attitude immediately changed because of her behavior. I wish I could say I already was less offended, but she helped me quickly change what could have been major offense and grudge holding to, you know what, everybody makes mistakes, moving on. I let it go and was grateful she didn't come out and hit me. So, it was a nice, with her help, I was able to change from what could have been aggressive or angry behavior to really grateful that it was all safe.
I had a guy, in fact, one time, I hadn't been in Twin Falls long, at a similar situation, and at the intersection at the light, he looked at me and I could read his lips. He apologized.
Yeah.
I felt so much better after that.
Yeah, no, and interesting, we're talking about gratitude, and these two examples that we just gave are also things you can do to show that if you did something that's offensive, and rather than protect your pride, is to actually be able to say, "Hey, sorry, didn't mean to do that." Whether it's lip syncing as somebody goes by in a car, or physically actually saying that, or showing with your body posture that that wasn't intended. That helps decrease that level of aggression or wanting to go after somebody on your part and the others. In fact, University of Kentucky in 2012 does a study that says that grateful people are more likely to behave in a pro-social manner even when others behave less kind. So the person that wasn't, uh, you know, and, I mean, maybe they caused the mistake and then they still flip you off. And I had that where I grew up a lot. Somebody cut me off in traffic,
I used to drive
and
there. I
and,
know.
and they're mad at me because they cut me off. And so grateful people tend to be able to handle stuff like that better rather than shooting their blood pressure and
All the way
their.
from Conshohocken to Philadelphia.
There
It's
you,
just one long road rage.
it is.
Um,
It really is.
we have a caller joining us. Caller, you're up next. You're on the air at 8:52 with Dr. Jonathan Tripp.
I have a question for the doctor. I'm 67 years old, and I felt recently that my posture is getting pretty poor. I feel like I'm getting a chicken neck, I guess you'd say. So I've tried to do things to improve it, like sleeping without a pillow and being more conscious about my posture. Is that just a typical aging thing, or is that something I need to talk with a doctor about and improve?
Yeah, in fact, our physical therapists in the area are going to really have to send me thank you cards today. But if it's your head is forward of your shoulders and chest, because that's kind of the way your posture is, you really need more of a strengthening program and exercise to strengthen the neck and upper back muscles, the shoulder muscles, to get that posture back. It's not just a matter of sitting up straight like your mom used to tell you to do. So it is a weakening in the muscles, and as a result, that curve, kind of like as if you're leaning your head back, but your head is physically forward of your body. That needs some exercise to help bring that back in line, and that will be better for you long term. You'll appreciate the next 20 years a whole lot better if you have, better strength to your neck and upper body. So physical therapy would be a great way to go. You can do that through our office. You can do that with a lot of the physical therapists. You can go in directly and use your insurance that way.
Okay, thank you.
Well, thank her very much for the telephone call, too. And again, she feels better at some point. That's where her attitude turns around, too.
Yeah, or just having the ability to make a change.
And, she referenced sleeping without a pillow because you also wanted to bring up gratitude and sleep. There's a relationship there, too.
Yep, there is. Let me finish with the aggression part, because this was impressive to me, this University of Kentucky study. They said that the study participants who ranked higher in gratitude scales were less likely to retaliate against others, even when given negative feedback. They experienced more sensitivity and empathy toward other people and a decreased desire to seek revenge. Oh my goodness. Now the lawyers will be mad at me, but for those that are seeking lawsuits, they feel the need for revenge. They need to, somebody needs to pay. And reality is people that have gone through a lawsuit that win rarely feel better afterwards. They usually feel worse. And then some actually get into a habit where they find reasons to sue others, and their whole life is revolving around anger and revenge. It's somebody that needs to pay, and believe me, that is not a happy life. So I really think that's a big deal, that being able to feel more based in yourself, more willing to let others kind of do things that aren't perfect in your life and move on. That's a big part of this gratitude. Okay, so Grateful people have better sleep. Oh my goodness, how many out there would like to have better sleep? Only about 92%. Um, so this is a technique. Costs you nothing except for a little time. And it says writing in a gratitude journal. I don't care what you call it. Just writing down um, things that you can be grateful for. It says this is according to applied psychology and also a study from a group called Health and Wellbeing. Spend just 15 minutes jotting down a few grateful sentiments before bed, and you may sleep better and longer. Well, the answer is the group that they could get to do that definitely slept better and longer, and they did that through sleep studies. It's not just, well, how did you feel? Because I have people with sleep apnea that say, oh, I sleep great. I feel like crap, but I slept great. So this group, they actually were able to show that there is improved type of sleep and length of sleep by spending 15 minutes writing down little things you're grateful for from the day. That's an awesome technique and probably changes your next day dramatically for the better. So better sleep. Here we go. Gratitude improves self-esteem. Who wouldn't like to, stop worrying about what the neighbors think, and do I look good enough, and have I lost enough weight, and is my car cool enough, and maybe some of our listeners out there already passed all that, but 2014 study called the Journal of Applied Sports Psychology found that gratitude increased athletes' self-esteem, which is an essential component to optimal performance. Other studies have shown that gratitude reduces social comparisons, keeping up with the Joneses, rather than becoming resentful toward people who have more money or better jobs, which is a major factor in reduced self-esteem. Grateful people are able to appreciate the other people's accomplishments. Wow, that's something my dad preached to me. Can you get comfortable enough with yourself to actually not feel like you need to compete with somebody else's accomplishment? That that is a major self-esteem, self-worth moment when you can actually be happy for somebody else's accomplishment rather than feeling like, well, that should have been me.
And you wanted to mention mental strength as well.
Yeah. Oh my goodness. Um, Gratitude, we know, reduces stress. Okay, so but it also, they think it plays a major role in overcoming trauma. I talked about the broken leg or the car accident, but they did a 2006 study. It's called, out of the journal called Behavior Research and Therapy, used Vietnam War veterans with higher levels of gratitude. They found that they experienced lower rates of PTSD or post traumatic stress disorder. And then a 2003 study published in the Journal of Personality and Social Psychology found that gratitude was a major contributor to the resilience following the terrorist attacks on September 11th. So, recognizing all you have to be thankful for, even during the worst times of your lives, fosters resilience. And that's a big deal because we will have hard times in our life. So,
We've got to wrap it up, but doctor, we should talk to you probably in the rotation within the next 3 weeks. But
yeah, I may be off next week. We'll find out. But don't forget, today, come to Tripp Family Medicine, 1411 Fillmore, across from the post office on the north side of town. We got donuts, we got games, and all kinds of fun.